Hi, y'all. Bebe here. Very long, lengthy story. It's going to be in two parts. Bear with me. So, I grew up in a house with a baby grand piano in a family that played music. My dad could not play music, but my mom, my sister, myself, we were the musicians. My grandma had an upright Steinway ivory keyed piano from the 1920s, passed down to her by her mother. And this was the main piano I grew up playing. This type right here, with a very leather padded bench. Um, and then obviously my grandma's piano at her house. And I was learning piano informally, probably around 3 or 4 years old. And then I didn't have my first official piano lessons until I was in second grade. Was it second grade? Yeah, I think it was. It was probably second grade. I had my first official piano lessons, and I guess I was kind of lucky. My sister had her first piano lessons at someone's home, a nice old lady who had a studio at the front of her living room that was separate from the rest of her house, and had a big baby grand, but it was like a wood finish, I remember, and her name was Mrs. Strong. And when she taught my sister piano, that was in the very early 90s, when my sister, I guess maybe she exceeded that lady's uh, comfort level of how to play piano or something, and my sister switched to lessons in seventh grade with the piano teacher that taught piano and choir and chorus at our school. So I was in second grade, my sister was in seventh grade, and there is a nice lady named Andrea Giles who taught choir and piano at our school. And I think she taught another music class as well. There was a band teacher from like 89 until 99 or 2000. And I was actually in the last final year of that school having like ensemble band for fourth grade to eighth grade. And I learned clarinet for about a year. I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. I did it anyways just to please my parents. And if you asked me to put a clarinet together today, yeah, I could probably figure it out. If you asked me to play it, I would remember where to put my thumb on the back key, but I would not like putting my mouth on the reed. So there's that. And my sister learned recorder lessons as a kid. And I learned recorder lessons as a kid. And guess whose mother was the resident recorder teacher for our school? Mine. When I was in third grade, that was the final year my mom taught recorder. She didn't teach the following school year. She decided, oh, okay, when you were in third grade, that would be my last school year teaching recorder to both third grade classes. And she did it as a volunteer. She didn't get paid for it. She was a volunteer and she did it like twice a week. That was interesting. And I think I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. It was just a part of the package. And yes, I had to play recorder with my mom on violin or guitar, my sister on cello or piano, and my grandma on piano or organ when I was a kid, at least in third grade and fourth grade, for Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter, we'd have to do our duets as a family, etc. I kind of didn't like that growing up. So, 5-minute mark. Yeah. Baby grand piano, and I have perfect pitch from my upbringing of always having a piano in the home. And my sister started learning cello in 7th grade. So she wasn't just taking piano lessons in her like 4th year or 5th year or 6th year of formal piano lessons, but she also started cello because the school had the band teacher and then an orchestra teacher as well for 4th grade to 8th graders. And so my sister learned cello, and when she was in high school, she did cello at the first high school she went to, and then when she transferred to like not a charter, but it was a high school in the beginning of its existence that was actually temporarily in a church basement instead of in a public school building because there wasn't a public school building available for it. And she had to go to the big high school for orchestra. So she was doing double duty between a new school and then going to a big high school just for orchestra. But she did that all throughout 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. She recently did get her cello back from a friend who held on to it for her for probably about a year and a half. And she said she hasn't played it, but she appreciates having it, and it's kind of like a showpiece in her living room. One day, and I asked her recently if she wants to get a piano, and she said no. And she, as sisters can, as sisters do, telepathically or emotionally, there's some trauma with that, some stress, some triggers of the childhood past. And I could tell that was definitely in her eyes in that moment when she said no, that she doesn't want a piano ever again, not even a keyboard. I do. I want a piano again, and I have room in my bedroom for a good, high quality keyboard, either digital or electric, depending on the style. It would definitely be just a digital or electric piano keyboard on a stand. I would get a bench for it because while I do have a folding chair, and I do typically have bad posture. My posture is only good sitting up straight and tall when I play piano. I remember that. So I would get all 8 octaves, all 77 keys. I could not do, a wimpy 3-octave keyboard. That's fine for a small child who's never had the exposure. But I need a real piano or a real keyboard or a full length at minimum. So stay tuned for part 2. Thanks for sticking around if you're still here. Bye.